Okay, great. All right, so how would you like to start today? Do you want to start by going through your worksheet, or would you rather go through the reading? What's your pleasure today? This is all linked to reading 8.
I think I'd like to do the worksheet. if that's
Yeah.
okay with everybody.
Let's get this up here so that we can refer to the context. Okay, very good. So let's start. Why don't you, Stoops, why don't you start us?
Sure.
With the first one, okay?
Sure. It is Ekalutsas.
Ekalutsas.
So that is, how's that go?
Why isn't it? It looked like it was working just fine. Why did I do this? How do I start this? There. I'm so sorry about this. I apologize for this interminable wrestling match with technology.
It didn't seem to malfunction so much last semester. At least I thought.
Yeah. There it is. I don't know. Okay. Oh, jeez, I can't. I'm such an idiot. Unbelievable. I'm rattled. Okay, all right.
Yay.
Stooks. Test.
So it is a verb. And it is aorist, third person, singular, active.
Okay, well, what is this? And what is this?
Those are both aorist.
Well, what kind of words are those?
Verbs. Like
Verbs?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this?
Oh, participle.
It's a participle. Okay, you can have two verbs because it's connected by chi, right?
Oh, I'm set that for the. I thought that was linked with So okay, so it's a participle. Still aorist.
Uh-huh.
And it would help if I knew what it was modifying.
Well, what's the subject?
Homunculus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nominative, singular, masculine.
Uh-huh.
Aorist,
Mhm.
active participle.
Very good, very good. Para erotemata? All right, kalista. The second one is apedeiknua. Maria.
It's third singular,
Very good.
imperfect, active, indicative.
Very good, very good. Excellent. Very good. Any other questions? Good. From apodeiknuma, right? Apodeiknuma. Okay. Very good. Excellent. And our next one?
Is
You
I want to come, good, okay, you ate this, okay? Now let's take Alaroi.
it is action
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
accusative, singular, and
Neuter, okay? This is you ate this. These are adjectives that have two endings. The days, A is sigma, A is feminine, and and masculine, and the epsilon sigma. This is for the neuter. This is the one that we saw last time that threw me for And it's when you look it up in the lexicon or in the grammar, they're gonna use aletheis is going to be the example.
Go ahead and put it in the master.
Well, they'll show you the paradigms for
Okay.
this kind of adjective. Kalasta.
Is it sort of like the is-ski, like sort of adjectives in mind, where it's two in the masculine and feminine, and then there's no
Yes,
one
yes,
singular?
that's, yes, In that sense, yes.
Okay.
Dakrusasa.
So,
Dakrusasa.
is it a verb? Right? Or is it another participle?
Well, let's not guess, okay?
So,
Why would you think that would be a verb?
oh, I see a sigma and an alpha, and I
Okay.
think aorist verb. I did the same thing with I call verb sauce.
Well, it's perfectly good thinking the aorist,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, but then the question is,
yeah. There's no epsilon, so I should have. There's no temporal element, so I should have got there. But that is so an aorist participle, active,
Mhm.
feminine, singular, nominative,
Mhm.
because it's modifying
Mhm.
a.
Mhm. Very good, very good. And who is the hay? Very
Oh
good.
yeah.
Argoste, right, that's the name we've given her, Kalasta. All right, our next one, Ekriza.
Third singular,
Mhm.
imperfect,
Good,
active,
uh-huh,
indicative.
very good. From Krezo, right? Very good, excellent. Ektheenai,
It's an infinitive
it is an infinitive.
and it's aorist active
It's aorist active from ektithema,
to expose.
to literally to set out, to expose, which actually is exactly the Latin translation
Really?
from, well, it comes from pono, okay, ponera, okay, and ek pono. All right, so the next one, epophotesing.
Got trouble with this one.
Yeah.
Want to think infinitive.
It is an infinitive, absolutely.
So, can you have a future infinitive?
Of course, you can have a future infinitive.
Is that what that is?
Well, let's go through the steps. Here's the epsilon yoda nu ending.
Yeah.
Right,
Sigma before it,
sigma before it, yeah.
and the changes the accents back,
Mhm.
and there's no changes to the stem. So I'm gonna say just future active infinitive.
It is. Now, so what might it, what is the other thing that you might think it would be?
An aorist.
An aorist, okay?
Yeah.
So why isn't this aorist?
Because doesn't the aorist one have a circumflex on the ain?
That would be the second aorist. But this is a sigma.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Is it something to do with the theta?
no,
No.
no. The aorist infinitive has a different ending. It doesn't have the ain ending. It has the psi ending, right?
Right. That's so the first aorist has it.
Yeah.
So, A was,
Ektheni,
Ecthena was, that was aorist.
that's aorist.
And that one just doesn't have this sigma alpha iota because it's a athematic.
That's correct.
So it just goes right on to the stem.
Okay, good. Future infinitive, absolutely. Epopsomenus. Right, epopsomenus, very good, okay.
It's a participle,
It is a participle, right?
masculine,
Mhm.
singular,
Oops.
plural,
Plural.
and then accusative,
Accusative plural. Very good.
aorist, and then.
Okay. All right. You. Okay. So we're thinking about aorist. What makes you think that this is an aorist?
The sigma, like the C.
The C. So there's a sigma in there. But if that were an aorist, in other words, if that sigma in the C is a consequence of an aorist, then what kind of aorist would that be? First or second?
First.
First aorist, which means the thematic vowel would be what?
Alpha.
An alpha. Okay, good. So this is not going to be an aorist, but it's going to be a what?
Future.
Future. Very good. Okay, so masculine, accusative plural, the us, and then you were about to say the voice, okay? And this is where the omenos comes in. What kind of ending is that?
Middle.
Middle. Very good. Very good. Okay. And it comes from the verb, so the basic stem, we have a preverb at that, right? And then we have horo, opsomai, aeon are the first three principal parts. Okay, good. Next one. Apolesa.
It's right next to the word that we just said.
Oh, yeah.
It's an infinitive.
It is.
And it's future middle.
No. Yeah. Yes. Future middle, absolutely. Mhm.
Why is it future?
Mhm.
Is it the same?
Well, it's from apoluma. Okay, which means to die. Okay, to be destroyed, to die. And this is a future. We have that contraction right there because this, like many futures, has that epsilon. So think of, for example, meno, which has a little epsilon in there. Okay. So this has the same sort of thing in the future. This has a liquid. Okay. So apoleo is going to be apole is the stem. So the question is, why is it future? Right? Why are we in the future? Okay. So that's going to be a syntactical question that we'll get to when we start talking about that.
I couldn't tell that it was future by looking at it. I just thought it was probably future because it was right next to another future.
There you go. Well, that's good. That's an entirely reasonable heuristic. Poiese.
That is verb, it is subjunctive.
Very good.
It is third person singular
Third person singular. Very good.
and active. And the only thing I had a problem with was the tense.
Tense.
I know there's not a future subjunctive.
Okay. So what would that
It's
be?
from poieo.
Mhm.
What's the third principal part of poieo?
Poieso, yeah, poiesa.
Poieso. So then it's I'm gonna say aorist.
Does the aorist subjunctive always drop the temporal augment?
Yes.
Always?
Always. The only mood that has a temporal augment is the indicative. Except, we think of the reduplication also as a temporal augment, and so in the perfect system, that's not true. Okay, that's aor subjunctive, absolutely. And remember that the subjunctive ending, the personal ending, the subjunctive is the same thing as the subjunctive of the verb to be.
Right.
Good. Oye-san.
Where are we? It's in the blue.
Oh, here. Oye-san.
Okay, so verb,
It is a verb.
it is. Second singular,
Excellent, yes.
and then is it also subjunctive?
It is not subjunctive.
Um, Is it future?
It's not future. So let's think this through. Okay, so what is this telling us, right? It's telling us, so we from puedo, let's work through this, let's think through it, okay? Puedo, right? Puedo, and puedo, right? Okay, so we're working through it. What could it be? So we've got eta sigma right there, okay? So we have to make a determination between one of those, future or aorist.
Well, you said it wasn't future, so I'm assuming here.
Well, but no, I want you to think this through, okay? Why did you think? Because you thought it was future, so.
Because it didn't have the epsilon.
Oh, it didn't have like something like the temporal augment?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay, it doesn't have the temporal augment, okay. All right, so, but we've observed that the temporal augment is only in the indicative. Okay, so let's think, let's say, look, let's say it doesn't have a temporal augment, so I'm gonna say it's the future. So what ending would this be in the future? The Omicron's new.
Would that be
Well, but the future has the regular primary endings, right? As in O, A, say, right? Bowman, and Osa, right? Usa. So it has regular primary endings. This would be a secondary ending on the future, and the future has the primary endings.
Oh, okay. So it can't be a future because of that.
Well, it can't be a verb. Okay. It could be something else, though. What could it be? You could be a participle, okay? It could be a neuter, accusative, or nominative participle. Poison, poisontos. Okay? It could be that,
Okay.
all right? But if that's true, then what would it modify?
It could modify.
Because it would mean, in that case, it would be some neuter something doing something.
Sue is not neuter.
It is definitely not neuter. Because it's what?
Masculine.
It's masculine.
Is Hoda neuter?
Hoda is an adverb, okay, meaning in this way. The neuter would be toda, right? So future is probably not gonna work, okay? Although those are, that's a good impulse. This is a really important process that you go through in looking at these different possibilities. So if it's not future, then you've got to then we'll go with what option?
Eris.
We'll go with aorist. Okay. And what would this ending be in the aorist?
Second singular.
Second singular, what?
Eris.
Aorist. Mood?
Subjunctive.
Oh, cool. Well, remember we just had a subjunctive, right? That's the second singular.
So indicative.
Not indicative.
Optative.
Not an optative.
Imperative.
Imperative.
Nice.
It's the imperative. Okay. First aorist had this unusual imperative, right?
Yes, of course.
What's that?
Yes, of course.
Now, let's ask ourselves, why would it have this unusual ending? Because we're used to saying what's a regular imperative ending for the third person singular.
Is there like,
Epsilon?
Yeah, just an epsilon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just an epsilon, okay? So we've got poieo, right? Poieo. Poieso, right? Yeah, poiesa, right? Okay, so there's our aorist form. Let's put it, so what would this, if we have an epsilon in there, what does it look like? And poiesa, which is what?
what's the thing?
It's the third person singular,
Right, so this is second person?
second person imperative. Okay, the only thing is that we wouldn't, if we shift out of the indicative, we wouldn't have a temporal augment. But essentially you have, and this temporal augment, for example, doesn't always appear in certain like Homeric poetry, it's not always there. So to eliminate the confusion between a second person imperative and a third person singular, we have a different ending for the imperative.
Which is.
Omicron nu.
Did they just randomly pick that? Like, was that an arbitrary decision or?
All language is arbitrary.
Well, that's true, but it does, follow some formulated
I don't know.
processes.
I don't know why I don't know how they set on
Okay.
that.
So that was first person singular, but this is second
This
person
is second person
singular.
singular imperative.
And the one
Yeah.
with just the epsilon
Is
is
third person.
third person singular. Okay. All right. The
Okay.
next one.
All right, good.
And do imperatives have voice? So that was active.
Ophthenai. Stoops. Or, no, Kalaroi, you're Kalaroi?
It's my turn. It's an infinitive.
It is an infinitive, excellent, thank you.
And it is aorist.
It is aorist.
And it is middle. Passive.
It's passive,
It's passive.
it's passive, okay. And it's from what verb? Horo, right, horo. Horo, in the aorist passive is op, well, we would,
How does that verb get changed
G.
into a
off. Opthane, okay.
Okay.
Opthane is the aorist passive. Why is it that way? Well, because essentially we've got the stem is op, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we see that, for example, in opsomai. Okay, opsomai. So what has happened is that this is a P plus the sigma becomes opsi.
And that is.
And now we have op is our stem, And here our tense indicator is a theta
Okay.
for the aorist passive.
Mhm.
So if we put up like that, you can't have
You can't have those two sounds together.
this because this is aspirated, right? And this isn't. So what this is this changes to the aspirated form, which is a D.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, good. Tethnaos, tethnaos.
A participle. And
Uh-huh.
and it is singular nominative masculine.
It is not.
It's gender.
No.
Accusative. Accusative.
It is accusative.
Plural.
Not plural.
Not plural. Is that neuter then?
It's neuter.
Okay, that's why it's all weird. It's neuter, singular, accusative, and the accent is forward. So it
It's
is.
back.
Wait, it's on the phone call.
Right. It's right here.
Well, I meant to say like towards the end.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
looking for. Yeah. So that is aorist.
No.
No. What about personal parts? Oh, present?
No.
Strike. No. So it's from, the verb is thnesco.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I didn't notice that was a reduplication.
Yeah, there you go. It's perfect.
So theta gets reduplicated to a tau.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so that's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
active, and accusative,
Accusative.
neuter. So
Neuter. What does it agree with?
it agrees
What
with
does it modify?
tuto.
Uh-huh. Well, tuto, and what does tuto refer to?
This. I didn't get it this far. Where was Tetoka?
What is
Tato.
tetoka? Okay, well, it's from tick. So what
That's-
tense is this?
That's not perfect.
It's perfect.
And it is
From tick-toe.
To bear.
I give birth, tick-toe.
so is that so prothes is another tutofero.
Well, so this is an adjective. I mean, it's participle, right? So
Right.
we modify something. This is a
Demonstrative.
demonstrative pronoun. What is it referring to? What do both of these refer to?
Oh, the child.
The child.
Okay, I thought I was
Technon,
looking for
yeah,
the
yeah,
actual
technon,
sentence. Yeah.
or so that's why it's paideon, right?
Right.
Or technon. So this is the baby.
Is that a convention to refer to babies in the neuter?
Oh yeah.
Because Pisces is neuter, right?
Isis is feminine or masculine. But paideon, which is the diminutive of pais, which would be baby, right? Or technon. They're both.
Okay.
both. Okay, good. All right. So what's our next one? Prothes, right?
Yep.
And that would be Maria's turn, right? But Maria is getting to be an expert in this sort of thing.
Okay, second, singular, and then imperfect.
No.
Okay, it's active.
It is active. What verb does it come from?
I'm not sure.
I'll give you that much.
Profano.
Wow. Oh, here's another clue.
Or did you just circle that? Okay, cool.
Pro what? Pro. Where does this verb come from? Ectithema.
Okay. So it's aorist,
It's aorist.
and then indicative.
It is not indicative.
Okay.
Would it have a temporal augment?
It would.
Okay. So,
Like I say, Maria, you're becoming an expert in this computer.
is it subjunctive?
No.
Imperative?
Imperative.
Okay.
That's imperative. That's imperative. All right. But what's the difference?
Secondary.
This is an athematic verb, right? Okay. So that is the stem. Okay. And it's the sigma is just the regular indicator of the second person. Okay. Profess. Okay. So this is like the airs, these athematic verbs. Okay. So for example, what would be, here's didoma. Okay. Didoma. Didoma, doso, edoka, right? So in the aorist, it's going to fluctuate between do and da. So what would be the aorist imperative, second person singular?
Talk, yes.
Okay, so this is the same thing. So tithema, theso, etheka,
Mhm.
and this is thes. So what is this going to be?
Dot, this.
Just dos,
DOS.
dos.
But what about the?
This is from tithema, okay?
Yeah.
So tithema,
So
theso,
the theta is part of the stem.
yeah, the theta is part of the stem. Theso, etheka. Okay, etheka. And this fluctuates, okay? So for example, the first person singular, or first person plural is going to be ethema. Okay?
But the third principal part is edoka.
Edoka, but this kappa only appears in the singular, first
Okay.
person, okay? And they only in the indicative. It's an outlier for these things, okay? So dos is the aorist imperative, second person singular for didoma.
Okay.
Give.
And why are those endings different? Like, why is it omicron, new, and then epsilon?
Because this is a first aorist thematic verb.
Okay.
And this is a thematic aorist. You're getting to be very good at this, okay? All right, let's do one more, and then we gotta call it a day.
Retrophone.
Okay, it's a verb
It is a verb.
and it's plural.
Plural,
First
first person,
active.
active,
Tense.
well, you've got to get your mood.
No, it's subjunctive.
It's subjunctive, yes. Subjunctive. Present subjunctive. First person plural. Very good. Excellent. All right. Thank you. All right.